For the FRQ, the question is asking us to derive an equation for the vertical coordinate y of the sphere as a function of x, v0, and physical constants as appropriate. So I got 0 points for this problem because I only derived an equation for x and I derived it incorrectly. And 1 point is given for deriving an equation for both x and y, and another point is given by deriving an equation correctly and getting the correct equation from deriving both and combining them. So in order to solve this problem, you need to first derive an x equation, and you use the second equation in the formula sheet. So x final is equal to x0 plus vx0t plus 1/2 ax t squared. So you just bring the x0 to the other side, and that will be the displacement for x. And in this problem, x will be the variable for the displacement for x. So x is equal to vx0 plus, or vx0t plus 1/2 ax t squared. And there isn't any acceleration for x, so any horizontal acceleration, because in this problem the only acceleration is gravity. So ax is equal to 0, so it gets rid of that part of the equation. So x is equal to vx0t. For the equation for y, you just do yf is equal to y0 plus vy0t plus 1/2 ayt squared. And just like the other problem, y will be the variable for the displacement for y. So y is equal to vy0t plus 1/2 ayt squared. And since the object is launched horizontally, there isn't any initial vertical velocity, so this should be 0. So vy0 would be 0, which gets rid of that part of the equation. So y is equal to 1/2 ayt squared. So t is the bridge of this problem because it's in both equations, and t is just equal to x divided by vx0. So we can plug that into the y equation because we're trying to find the y equation. So y is equal to 1/2 ay is gravity, and x over vx0 squared, and you just multiply it, and the answer is y is equal to gravity times x squared divided by 2 times vx0 squared. And that's the problem, and that's the answers, because you get 1 point since I derived both equations for x and y, and then I derived it correctly to get the answer in terms of y, for the equation for y. Part B of the problem, it is asking us to describe the overall procedure, or no, yeah, it's asking us to describe the overall procedure. So 1 point is earned for listing relevant/appropriate equipment that matches the measured quantities. So I listed a meter stick to measure the height, which is the vertical, and is equal to and is y. And I also listed a meter stick to measure the horizontal displacement right here. It says 1 point is earned for a plausible / practical way to directly or indirectly determine whether the claim is true. So I listed the step of just measuring the height, and then you launch the sphere, and you can see where the ball goes to. And then I say to do multiple trials so we limit the uncertainty. And then I use the meter stick to measure the horizontal displacement because we know that carbon paper is where the ball will land, or the sphere. And I said to repeat it multiple times. And then you could solve for y is equal to x squared, because we know y is equal to x squared. And so I got 1 point for measuring both x and y. And I also said do at different heights. And so that will be 1 point, because I said do at different heights, and you need to list at least 2 different values for y. And 1 point is earned for attempting to reduce the uncertainty. So I said you need to do multiple trials and different heights, which is why I got 1 point for that. So that's equal to 5 points. And then for here, I listed horizontal displacement, vertical displacement, which is I put x and y, so that's 1 point. And then carbon paper and meter stick. For part CI, as I just said, vertical axis will be y and horizontal axis will be x in meters and meters. And you need to graph the points. So as you can see here, we are given 0.5, 0.65, which I graphed here. 1 and 0.245, which I graphed here. 1.5 and 0.56, which I graphed here. More. And 2 and 0.99, which I graphed here. And this 1, so that's correct. So I got 1 point for graphing correctly, and I also listed the y, the vertical part of the graph and the x part of the graph, and I used the whole graph. And so I got 2 points for that. And then for CII, I got 0 points because 1 point is given for explaining the problem correctly. And I didn't explain the problem correctly because since I graphed with a y versus x graphed instead of y versus x squared, I needed to say that that it isn't directly proportional to x, and I didn't say that, and I needed to say it is y is at least 4 times more than the x value in the graph.